really got all that long because it kept, my hair is so straight, it kept growing like just straight out, you know what I'm saying? And I had this like poof that was like the worst. And finally, I worked the whole summer in landscaping, and let me tell you, it was killing me. And in August, I went to get my hair cut, and the woman, I was like, well, don't cut it too short. And she probably heard me say, cut it short. I don't know what. And she was just like, I mean, really short. I showed up to work the next day, and they were like,
now officially live on YouTube.
Hey!
Say hi, everybody!
Hey!
No one knows who anyone's looking at. This is a 360-degree cam.
Bro.
So everybody focus on Steve, naturally.
Steve
from Boston is over there. Steve, introduce yourself, my friend. Who are you? You're Steve, you are?
I'm Steve.
Where are you from?
I'm from Boston.
Hell yeah.
You see, I know to look in this camera and not at these guys right now. I'm looking at you.
Let's go towards Josh over there.
Alright, you Josh.
No!
First word on the Thomann live stream.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's
Josh. Hi,
yeah,
Josh.
now you owe him 20 quid.
I know, right? 20 quid, please. I'm Josh from Brighton, England, and I'm here as Hughes and Kettner's artist.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow.
The A word. I didn't think we used the A word.
Wow, artist.
You said artist,
what it
right?
is.
Not artist, right?
That's what it is. Not much I can do about that.
And Josh, who's that?
Hey, this is Max from Guitar Max, the YouTube channel. Starring me.
Now, Max, do you have another life in voiceover work?
No, I don't.
You have quite the voiceover voice.
Sick.
It's a smooth baritone,
People
actually.
tell me I have a voiceover voice, but you have a much better voiceover.
You have a great radio voice.
No, you have a great.
No, you have like a BBC radio voice. Well, only England, not England, like BBC, like Vancouver.
Oh, right.
BBC Delaware.
Give me the play-by-play, like the sports. You have to. I feel like
No, it would be more like 20 dead in Sri Lanka this morning.
Oh my God.
Car fire.
It's got dark real fast.
Wow.
So thank you very much for watching.
Look, I gotta go with what I know.
Car fire.
Max, I'll be honest. Sorry, before we go to our next guest, I thought Steve had the greatest voice in the world, and Steve, I'm sorry you're now second place.
Yeah, but have you listened to Steve's on headphones?
Yeah, but
Oh yes.
On headphones, man.
No, we done a video in Germany.
It's
Well,
like
we're in
chocolate.
Germany now, in another place, and we were doing the video, and you were talking to me, and you were talking to me soft. And it was just like,
Yeah.
I just sort of went, oh.
That makes a really big difference, though, because of YouTube and people have to be so animated. Like, hey guys, let's check out what we've got going on.
Just like subscribe. Ring the bell icon.
dude, if you don't do that at the start of every video from now on, I just think you're leaving money on the table.
The problem is naturally I'm like, hey guys.
Oh my God, sorry. I can see 360 as well.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's
Oh my
terrifying.
God, that's creepy.
Ew.
Oh, it's really close as well. It's kind of weird.
Well, I've had to, because of YouTube, I've had to really deliberately really amp myself up. But my amped up version is just normal. Because if I just am just myself, I just sound really boring. Like I'm just reading a wanted ad or something like that. I mean, it's just
Like you found your way into the Quaalude jar that night.
yeah.
So speaking of boring and calm down, our next guest is.
I'm Jay, and I'm boring and calm down. I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm an Aries.
And
You like long walks on the beach?
I like yogurt and cuddling. And beside me is...
I'm Kaylee. I am the social media manager at Isotope. So I'm here in a brand capacity, I guess.
We have brand
I
artists.
know. I guess brand / artist, yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
right. You were sold to me as an artist, so we're going to
Oh,
call
was
you
I?
an artist. Yeah,
Oh, lovely, lovely.
I have an artist coming with me, said Jürgen.
Oh, really? Did he? Oh,
He did.
I'll take that as a compliment.
So we're here at the first live stream of TGU19, and I thought we'd just do a round table kind of discussion. I know we're only on day one, an hour 5 or something like that, but how it's going, what fun you've had, maybe what the best thing you've seen is so far, what you're looking forward to.
Wait, hold on. Let me get a list going. So, what was the first thing we have to do?
Favorite chicken recipe,
Yeah.
shoe size.
That pool toe.
Your favorite shoe size.
And
People
your-
have.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I can wear a 50, but it won't fit me. But it's my favorite.
It's the
It's
go-to.
not your favorite. Yeah.
It's the proportion of the shoe. Jordans look bigger. You know, they look bigger, so you want a smaller one, so it looks a little bit slimmer. I see what you're saying.
So what's your favorite shoe size, Jay?
My favorite shoe size?
Great question.
The one that fits my foot, which is inconsistent.
Good answer.
I have
Good
one
answer.
foot
That's
that
the
is
one,
3
right?
sizes smaller than the other. So,
Did you bring it with you?
no, I didn't.
the foot?
That fit my favorite.
Foot, no, I didn't bring the foot.
Don't.
No, we go by
Europe has different
inches, so it's
sizes.
millimeters.
US is different, right?
Actually, no, I
Actually,
I
US,
bought.
UK,
You know,
and
it is.
Asia are 3 different sizes. If you look inside your footwear,
Yeah.
it usually lists at least US and UK.
The UK size is a size smaller than the US size. So if
So
you buy
we'll-
an 11, if you're an 11 in the
Makes
US,
sense.
you're a 10 in the UK. Yeah.
So,
I don't know why I know.
we've covered shoe sizes.
Because
Yeah.
I was shoes in England at one time.
Yeah, that one time I bought shoes in England.
How is TGU, Joss, as an artist? How's TGU for you so far?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it's at the moment it's been a bit because the first day we've been trying to set up the rooms, and then all the amps have been trying to set up in the Hughes and Kettler room, and then there was a grounding issue. So every time you turned on an amp, it was just like. So now we've had to shift everything over to another room, and we start at like 4. I think my first video is at 4 o'clock, and then So far it's been just. I mean, you can't. It's not much you can do. I mean. It's busy and you got to do what you can do at the moment. But it's been alright. The pulled turkey was amazing. Pulled turkey? Up at lunch.
Oh, you had the pulled turkey. I had the gnocchi.
Oh, I had that too. That was
Loki,
really
that was
good. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's alright so far. It's first day.
All right so far. Thanks,
Yeah, it's the first
thanks
day.
for the
It's-
extremely
I mean, like,
British answer.
Yeah, I haven't shot a video
Not bad.
yet, so yeah, it's not bad. I started with Chris first off. So
Oh, look
so
at you.
4 o'clock.
Chris and Thomann, Chris Barocci. Good luck. Good luck
Should
with
be
that.
fun.
I need luck. He's not very nice to work with.
That's fine. I'm worse.
Pete, would you like to join us for a live stream?
You guys starting now?
We're starting.
We're on
We're
live.
Live.
Whoa!
You are more than welcome to join Johnson Max on the couch over there.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
just
Or
see
sit on
this.
Steve's lap. It depends how it goes.
I'm running a few, but I'm happy to.
We were just talking about TGU so far, Pete.
Yeah.
We didn't really get into it very much, but how's it going for you?
Good, other than the jet lag, but I'm getting through it. If I keep moving, I'm cool, right?
Uh-oh.
I keep walking around. Yeah.
It's like a zombie.
Yeah.
Like
I was,
all-
it's like cement in your brain, just kind of like seeping through. How are you guys doing? Everybody good? Yeah. Good.
Jet lag, but not too
Yeah,
bad.
a little jet lag. Still trying to get over it. It's a killer, man.
Where were you flying in from?
I'm from Boston as well.
Wow, look at all these.
Fellow-
I went to school in Boston, so
Nice.
I want to be cool like you guys.
Did you go to Berkeley?
I went to Berkeley.
Nice,
Yeah, so
nice.
I'm cool like you guys.
Nice.
But I've been here. I've been in England for I was in England for a little bit, and then I got my flight came in. It was late, and so I was in Frankfurt last night. So I don't think I should be here because I just got here like 45 minutes ago.
Oh, jeez.
But I got a tour. I got to see the rooms. And I got to see the tents. So I feel like I've been here for a while.
Yeah.
I like
got
the
the
tent.
vibe.
The tent's cool.
I like the
I kind of want to.
The tents weren't here last year, and I think it made a difference this year.
I just like the fact that we don't have to walk up that hill like we had to as much last. So for all of you that aren't at TGU, there's like a lot of stuff here, but then there's like this walkway that's like a 45-degree angle, and that's like the other wing. And they had rooms set up there last year and rooms set up like far away in the bottom. And if you had a bad schedule, you'd be like sprinting up and down to make your times. That was rough. That was really, really rough. So the fact that everything's down here is so much
Great for your calves, though.
Man, I had my gowns were glorious. I could have wore pumps, break your heart.
Let's do a quick ego check, okay?
Okay.
One of us has had a comment, and someone is very happy that one of us is here. Who do we think it is?
I think it's Max. I'm
I was
going
gonna
Max.
say you. I was gonna say you.
But we both know it's Pete.
We all know it's me.
Pete's
So I'll
like,
just give you the
yeah.
answer. I'll give you the answer. It's our artist, Josh.
Did he write Josh or did he write Josh?
Oh yeah,
You wrote Josh.
Allen from the Einstein Ho.
That's where I go on the radio, man.
What guitar is in that case on your left? Is our first question of the live stream.
This is my Ibanez Axiom Series 7 string. Just loaded it up. Wes Howe, the guitar player, he just released the new signature pickup with Seymour Duncan, so that's just got dropped in here by Thoman's service team this morning for free. It was a beautiful service.
Oh, for free.
So it's got the new Seymour Duncan Jupiter in there, and it's
Is that like so? Here they've got a full service department. I would assume for every instrument, right?
It's from what I could tell, it's completely separate from everything.
Okay.
And it's an entire building up there, and it's just a desk. And then there were some people obviously sat behind the desk, and a dude was looking at a pedal board, another dude was looking at like a horned instrument, and then the other guy came around and took my guitar, and just took it through one doorway. It's just, so I can only assume there's just a ton of people back there just working.
Yeah, this place is crazy.
I know,
mean, it really is something else. I've been walking around. I just went up to the drum floor, which I've never seen, and synths, and like there's just a selection of like analog synthesizers with modular synths. I've been here once before, but I didn't see that stuff.
Have you been to the stage room?
The stage room? Yeah.
The room with the giant stage?
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
When this is over, I'll take you over to the stage room. I found it on the last day last year, and was like, oh, I wish I found this on the first day.
Well, there's there's a lot of hidden rooms here. Like you'll be up on a floor, and then there'll be like this like little like weird nook, and you go through the nook, and all of a sudden you're like in Narnia and stuff like that. And there's like crazy, there's unicorns and like flaming guitars, but it's nuts. Even just the custom room, I didn't even know that was a thing until like the second day last year, and that was like we had cameras in that room. So go figure. It's so easy to get lost here, even though it doesn't seem that big when you're like walking up and down.
Kind of sprawling.
Right?
Yeah.
You feel like it's like small when you're going up the staircase, but when you get on each floor, it like kind of branches all over the place. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's an interesting place, man. It's unlike any other music shop in the world that I've been to.
I agree.
It has the largest selection of didgeridoos that I've ever seen.
And an accordion room. You see all the accordion guys there?
Xylophone.
That's right, we
upright
have
basses.
3 didgeridoos.
Uprights.
Yeah.
If you want an upright covered in, zebra skin, they have you covered.
Oh, I saw one with a Corvette painted on it.
Yeah.
When you're playing upright bass, muscle cars, the two go together hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely the world's biggest selection of tubas.
Right. And quite a few xylophones, marimbas, and vibraphones.
Yeah, vibraphone.
As well. And some of those are really expensive. I mean, some of those, vibes, some of those vibraphones, like 30,000 euro.
I believe it. Yeah.
Like,
It's a hell of an instrument.
it's up there. You don't get that lost in shipping.
No kidding. Yeah, it's an amazing place.
I'm just going to talk to our viewers. This is a 360 cam, so if you're stuck staring at Joss,
That's the only reason. That's literally the only reason.
you can move your phone around or scroll with your finger as well, and you can see other people. But I'm still looking at Joss.
You can't stop.
Can you? Oh, you can't pinch to zoom. That's a shame. It just went full screen. Okay, this is new for me as well. It's my first time on 360.
So how are you doing it? Is it is that your pad over there, or is that they provide you with that?
I'm watching the thing that everybody else is watching.
Okay.
This is
And
capturing
there's a
it.
control room through there.
This is capturing the control room's in there.
Through there, so they're doing all the magic.
Right.
And then, there's the iPad. Have a play, so what do you think?
And you can just move it around. That's amazing. Okay, cool.
It's pretty
It's
crazy.
so cool.
Future is
I'm going to
now.
do one of these tomorrow morning. Can I plug my live stream? You guys can stop by 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can. No, I didn't know it was
There'll
like
be like one guy there just eating like a hot dog. Not realizing he's on camera.
I'm just realizing I need more than just me.
Away.
Well, you're going to keep running.
Just to keep it interesting, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's cool. That's really cool.
We were going to talk about singing and playing. That was one of the ideas I wanted to talk about. Does anyone here sing and play?
I could do it as a teenager, and I've lost the ability to do it because I didn't keep work. I could do it when I was a teenager, but I cannot do it now. As soon as I start singing, I screw up my hand rhythm, like almost immediately. I could probably break it again, but it would take a lot of practice, and at my age, I don't know if I could do it again. But when I was a teenager, I could absolutely separate it. It was like, while I'm playing guitar and I'm singing, it was like two completely different things. It was never a problem. And then I just stopped doing it, and now I just totally can't do it anymore. I literally lost the ability.
No, I guess it's the same sort of thing as those Travis picking techniques and stuff like that. it's just the whole muscle memory thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
If you don't do it for a little while, then it's just gonna. Although I don't know, with that sort of thing, as soon as it was built in, then I don't know if anybody can do that thing consistently.
The Travis picking
Yeah,
thing?
that, like the bass, like the whole sort of Jack Atkins thing.
For me, it was weird to like separate it, but once they were separated, it really was two independent things, and one didn't bother the other at all. And I was like, well, what's the big deal, right? It took me a while to get, but once I got it, and it took a few weeks, and all of a sudden I could just do it, and I was able to sing and play for a couple of years, no problem at all. And then I just stopped singing and really stopped playing for a little bit too. I wound up going off to non-musical school, and that was pretty much the end of that. And now I can't do it at all. As soon as I start to sing, my hands want to sync with my I can't keep the rhythm separate.
You know what's interesting is I had a friend that recommended a way to get better at it. And I've used that technique ever since, which is learn the singing part cold, like get it dialed. On the guitar part cold, get it dialed, or whatever, the keys, or whatever the other instrument is. And then put them together. And what ends up happening is you usually find that there's one or two places in the phrase, if you're having trouble syncing them, you'll be able to probably do most of it, but there'll be a syncopated thing in the middle of the phrase or something where there's a word that's just a little different than the rhythm that you're picking or whatever. And you can hone in on it because you know the singing cold, you know the guitar part cold, you find where that point is. And then you just kind of do it as though you were practicing Travis picking, where you've got those, it's the same almost. You're trying to get your thumb and your fingers.
It's the whole pat your head above the stomach, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you do it slow enough and really hone in on the thing, you can find those couple little places where it's a problem, and that always helped me, like kind of isolating the little problem area. And that actually goes for almost learning any lick or any, generally speaking, if you're like learning a phrase or learning and you're having a problem with like one part, you can probably play most of it, and then there'll be like one look like a string skip or something where you're like, oh, there's the thing, and then just practice, hone in on that one thing, micro kind of target practice that little thing, and then there it is all of a sudden.
I find if the rhythm of the vocal line and the rhythm of the guitar playing are very similar, no problem. But as soon as the vocal line has like a triplet in it, right? It's like
throws me off.
It's like, oh, I can't do this. It's like I can't break that syncopation. I know I could.
It's like a drummer, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same.
Yeah.
Well, see, I learned how to play guitar in front of a TV. So I used to just like watch the TV commercials and like learn the licks, right? And then like try to play like when I thought like I was watching a sitcom, I'd play music that I thought would work with the sitcom. And at the same time, I'd be arguing with my sister. So I'm arguing with my sister, trying to play with the guitar, and I guess I just got really used to separating the playing and the talking. So just being, I think just if you're a practicer, I always thought it was the best place to practice is actually while you're doing something else. So you practice, you have something, watch TV, and it's sort of like how Stephen Curry practices basketball, where he juggles the tennis ball when he's practicing his handle, so that way his eyes are constantly on the tennis ball, and he's not thinking about the basketball, and it helps him develop that way he could bounce a ball without looking at it, without caring about it, breaking the rhythm
on the
of it.
defenseman.
Yeah, and I think that kind of naturally happened, so when it came to singing and playing, it was never really a problem with me, just because I can very easily just talk to someone, have a normal conversation while just doing the goop-a-dee-goop, just because that's how it was the way my family was. And around the house, because I never had a place to really just practice on my own.
But it almost became like an advantage for you because you were able to like multitask.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so instead of practicing in your room, maybe practice, in the kitchen with and while your mom's talking to you about your homework. Practice in the living room while you're, doing, watching TV or hanging out, watching Game of Thrones or something. I guess people don't watch Game of Thrones anymore.
Yeah, I guess
that's not a thing. You guys had a good run.
I think there's an advantage for doing like both of those things, like honing on that stuff and really nailing those things that are difficult. But if you then try and take that directly to the stage or to a video, you find that there are other influences, other things that are affecting you that distract you. And then, so by doing both things, you have an advantage by like. I've seen many bedroom guitar players who are no worse or better than anyone, but then to throw them on a stage, it's like, oh my god, there's so much else going on.
Yeah, a big
learning curve
for me, like if I was getting ready for like an audition or something, and trying to simulate the actual, like, don't let the first time you have to play that thing with a guitar strap on, standing up and performing, be at the audition. Do it before. So I've actually gone as far as to like rent a rehearsal room.
Right.
Oh wow.
And and actually like practice with the PA.
Yeah.
Like
Turn off the lights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
simulate the
Do
whole
exactly the
time.
same.
Pump the track or whatever that I'm supposed to be playing, along through a PA, and then play guitar along with it with a PA singing full volume, and stand up and like practice like you're going to perform.
Yeah, that's what. Anytime I've played shows, that's what I have to do. Is I have to I stand in front of the mirror and I play because sitting down, and with a chair or whatever, and standing and playing guitar are two completely different animals.
Yeah.
And so if I'm playing a show, I have to do that, and I'm sure I look like such a nerd when I measure in front of the mirror. But if I don't, I will not be able to perform on stage. Or I remember once, this was a gig I played once in high school before I knew better. I was sitting on the back of the stage on an amp because I couldn't play the songs standing up, and I learned that lesson. I mean, I was 15 or something when that happened. So if you're preparing for a gig, stand in front of your bedroom mirror, plug in your amp, and just play.
Yeah.
And that being said, just play a lot of bad gigs.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I think
That's what I do.
Play lots because in the end, when you play a bad gig, there's a guy talking in front of you, someone's dropping dishes, there's someone's getting in a fight, a couple's breaking up, a couple's getting hooking up, crazy stuff, and there's so much
On the
stuff.
same table.
You're playing on the same table. Your overdrive pedal's not working. You drop your pick. One of your string breaks. Your amp starts to crack out. The bass player forgets to go to the chorus.
Then the meteor
Everything's
hits the
chaos. And if you get used, and it's not about being afraid. If you could just embrace the chaos
Yeah.
and kind of take it as a challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like you get your testosterone. No, this is not gonna bug me.
Yeah.
And you just go for it. You actually look even cooler. I remember I once had to play a gig, and we were playing at this place called the Shark. It was a small little place in Vancouver, and the show I wanted to end the show with something really epic, right? So we're having the big thing, the drummer's going thing, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna go on my amp, I'm gonna jump up, we're gonna end the song, I'm gonna jump off the stage, do a thing, and I go to jump up the stage, and I jump down, and all of a sudden I land on the side of the keyboard player's keyboard. The keyboard flips right over and smashes on the ground, and he's standing there, he's in panic, and I just look at him and I just kind of gave him a pat on the back. Get out of there.
Wow.
Just don't take yourself too seriously, and if something goes bad, it's actually kind of a blessing, because that's the joy. That's why we like going to live concerts. We want to see the mistakes. We want to see. Because that's why we don't, go to concerts and just listen to CDs and stuff like that.
You want to know you're human.
You're human, and that's what makes it fun. And when the singer screws up and says something funny in the
Yes.
mic, we're like, oh.
Well, and I mean, how many times have you gone to see one of your favorite bands that you admire so much? And I remember going to see the Jesus and Mary Chain 5 years ago or something, and they had to start and stop a song twice, and I was like, awesome. That makes me feel better because this is the Jesus and Mary Chain, and they do the same thing I do.
Yeah, it's the way they handle it, right? If they
Yes.
sort of laugh it off and just
Yeah,
do that again. Come on.
exactly. I think they got a little pissed off because of the Jesus and Mary Chain, but
I remember seeing Keith Richards playing, I guess it was Brown Sugar, and stadium show, Rolling Stones, and the capo was on the wrong fret. It was one fret forward, so and he hits his fret off, and the look on his face on the jumbotron. He was just like.
But
and he
Keith
just
Richards
moved it and
makes
started
mistakes
again.
too.
Yeah,
you know?
it was awesome.
Yeah.
I always use the example though of what you were talking about doing lots of crappy gigs. The Beatles. The Beatles were a cover band in Hamburg playing 4 sets a night or 5 sets a day for years, and that's why the Beatles could go on stage with no foldback or monitor system at all. They couldn't even hear each other, and get up there and play and sing like that, and just kick ass, right?
Yeah.
Because they were in the trenches for 4 or 5 years, playing covers. So
Nothing beats experience.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And covers are so good for that. Never feel I'm not writing my own
Money,
stuff.
money beats experience sometimes. Vast quantities of money, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Also, Keith Richards never makes a mistake. He probably intended to place the capo there just to flummox you.
I think.
Well, that's it. Yeah, because you think about it, some of those
The wizard
mistakes.
is wise.
Nice to meet you as well.
His Marklar's a Marklar.
But yeah, some of those mistakes we actually celebrate them. If someone breaks a string and then finishes a solo, say Steve Vai does it or some Guitar Hero, it's gonna be on YouTube. Check it out, what an awesome guy, he broke a string. Whereas most people, they'll just go.
Yeah, Jack White on. There was a whole week where the White Stripes were on the Conan O'Brien show every night, and the last night was a Friday, and they played, and they were playing their song, and I remember Jack White going to the guitar solo. He ran over to Conan's desk, and took his guitar off and put it on his desk, and was playing Slide in front, like right in his face, just to be showy, you know? And it was super cool. And he's playing, and then he goes to put the guitar back on it. I don't know what happened, but like maybe the cord pulled out of the wireless or something. All of a sudden, there's no guitar. And the White Stripes is guitar and drums, and that's it.
Yeah.
So now there's no guitar. What does he do? Like in that moment, throws the guitar on the ground, goes over and grabs the vocal microphone, and finishes drums and vocals. It looked like he meant to do it.
Yeah.
You know? And it was like better that it happened. Yeah. It was better. It was more.
Yeah, right.
No guitar.
Because that's what rock and roll is.
Right. It's very organic, and it's, you take when something like that happens, it's what make lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
You know, you blew a speaker, you just invented distortion. You know,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
stuff like that, man.
Exactly.
And so don't be afraid to screw up on stage, and don't be afraid to look like an idiot, because you know, if you embrace it, you'll actually look cooler than you think.
Was this a question that someone asked?
No, it actually started off.
No, Jay just started talking.
I just started
okay.
We're not even live. We've just been joined by Ryan from 60
Hi, everybody.
and a sort of magical being.
Pete Thorne.
Well, a few of us are magical beings, but there's
Hello.
a magical being just
I
sitting
am-
on Steve's lap.
The Thomann Dungeon Master.
Hello, Dungeon Master.
I dwell below, within, without, and grant challenges to those who are worthy or not.
The damn good guitar player too. I heard you playing earlier.
This really goes well with the
It's
summer
very
campaign.
uncomfortably
I'm not confused at all.
The beard growth is seriously crippling.
Well, it just means we're going to summer camp at Hogwarts. Clearly.
Trillianus. I have a question for all of you.
Okay.
What is best in life?
Yes.
That's it?
Wow.
I know the answer, but I don't want to say it.
To crush the enemies,
Yes.
see them driven before you,
Yes.
and the lamentation of the women.
Yes.
Solid.
Well done, Thomann. I knew you'd know. That's why the question was psychically aimed at you. Pete Thorne, I have a question for you.
Okay.
As an admirer of your playing. Sorry, that sounded like a roar. As an admirer of your playing, from afar, scrying on my visual ball, what are you proudest of in your career so far?
Oh man, proudest?
Don't say right now.
I guess you know what the coolest thing is has been kind of what all these people are actually doing right now. Like I started off my career kind of touring. That was how I made my money. Getting a job as a touring musician with other artists. And somehow in the last 10 years, magically making the jump to being like doing my own thing, which was kind of haphazard and not really planned. But I know you guys are all experiencing this, but it feels damn good. It's like really cool, not necessarily having. I still like working for other people, but I can be a little more choosy about it now. And so that's the thing.
You're not waiting on other people.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and you're not always.
You can
looking for
just
someone
you
else
can just go and do something and have it done. And
Yeah,
it's
you
all.
You can choose your own rider. You can have Kellogg's Frosties waiting for you if you need them.
Exactly.
You can have 1 mil plectrums or 6 mil picks.
It feels good. So yeah, I guess it started putting on a couple solo records, and then kind of, but also with the YouTube thing sort of percolating at the same time and growing, and all that has been just a really good feeling. It's like a feeling of self-reliance or something. That's pretty cool. That
So you are proudest of the progression you have taken and the freedom it has given you.
Yeah, like being able to kind of, it feels good being my own guy, I guess, for a change, as opposed to always looking for somebody else for approval, maybe, like to hire you, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To break out of that a little bit and go, hey, I'm just going to do what I think I should do, and kind of have it working out.
Yeah.
That feels really good.
Like when Harry graduated from Hogwarts and he was a fully fledged wizard of his own powers,
There it
he
is.
could flourish.
Excellent analogy.
You are an excellent analogy. Thank you. You know, the only thing certain in life is that we live it forwards and we understand it backwards. I bid you farewell.
Summer camp, TGU19.
This is just like summer camp when I was a kid. There was a wizard.
I don't know what
A
just
magic
happened.
wizard who told you things.
Yes.
We have a few questions. And first of all, we have
That
a
camp
top,
got shut down.
we have a top commenter.
Top commenter.
Top commenter who comments, somehow he comments on everything we ever do at Thomann and my channel and several of your channels. His name is Poo Ninja.
Oh, I love Poo Ninja.
Hi, Pooh Ninja.
I love Poo Ninja.
Yeah.
So can we all say hi, Poo Ninja?
That's a word, that phrase I never thought I'd ever say.
Ned never stopped saying it.
And he also got the quote.
I thought I was special. I thought I was the only one who had Pooh Ninja as a follower.
Which 10 out of 10.
Oh, please. Poo Ninja. Oh, please.
Pooh Ninja's
Poo
all
Ninja's
over
on my
everything.
channel.
I wonder if we all have the same trolls. I bet you we all have the same trolls.
Oh, I'm
There's been
sure
a couple
we-
times where
I'm
I've
sure
looked
we
at our
have.
thread and we've had the same trolls on both of our. Yeah.
They're habitual. They can't stop.
Yeah. Either that or we just really suck.
We're not calling Pooh Ninja a troll. He's
No. Good people.
a
Good
treasure.
people.
A treasure.
Yeah.
We all love Pooh Ninja.
Oh gosh, what am I doing with my life?
Someone's made a statement in the comments saying there is no such thing as a bad note. They are at worst just a passing note. So
I like that.
Or a neighbor tone.
Philosophy.
Technically, any note can harmonize with any other note, but it will be dissonant in certain circumstances. But yeah, technically, every note can harmonize with every other note.
I mean, some people dig atonal
and in
music.
fact, Jacob Collier has a wonderful video out there where he sits down with people of different levels, a beginner, intermediate, expert, and then the last level is Herbie Hancock. And he talks with one guy, and he basically says, any note can harmonize with any other note. It just all depends on context.
Yeah.
And he starts with an F, and then he just starts putting out all these chords that has pretty much every other note in the scale. And he goes, it all works against this F. And I was like, that's good.
I mean, all you have to do is watch them two jam at the end.
Yeah.
And it's just, it gets to that point where it's complete and utter dissonance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's
There
theoretically down
is
on paper
some thread holding it together in your ear that's saying, like, okay, it's organized chaos.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think if you play a wrong note, play it twice, and then it seems like it's on purpose.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
You own that note.
Yeah.
And you try to go like this, and then you bend it to the right note.
We'll make you do one.
I hear people do that all the time. They hit the wrong note and they immediately bend it.
No, you wait it,
Their
you let
ears
it-
don't let them down.
And then when
they
you
hear
do
the
it-
difference and they immediately bend it to the correct note, and then they correct after that. But I see that all the time.
Or you bend
I
the
saw
same note.
Buckethead.
Buckethead?
I saw Buckethead a couple of months ago. He played in Boston, and at one point he went up to do something, and he was one fret off. And he's playing to a backing track, so there's no band to adjust. And he picked it up instantly, made like some quick thing, and then moved into the correct position and went on from there. But it was his ears that saved him.
My move is to start with the correct note and then bend into the wrong note. And then not correct it at all.
If I screw it up, I could turn it into a motif. So you do like a wrong note or like a wrong little lick. Just do it up a whole tone. Do it up another whole tone. Do it up another whole tone. And eventually they'll kind of like, oh, he's doing a thing, and then you resolve it nice. They go, ooh, that was
I remember Scott Henderson talking about playing outside, and I asked him about like how he, how do you approach playing outside? He said, my fingers where I know they're not supposed to be, like a lot of the time. You look at the fingerboard, and it's like.
Which at the same time is insanely difficult to do within itself. Anyway.
It kind of is.
It's like inherently feels like my fingers shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But you just if you get it right, then yeah, it's cool.
If you know kind of how to resolve,
Exactly.
then you're
Exactly.
Resolve.
Resolve.
Music
I'm
theory,
gonna learn
kids,
that.
learn it.
We're gonna learn that one. Okay, we've got lots of people like saying hi generally,
Hi.
Hi.
and that's really really nice. They're very happy to be watching us at TGU19. They're hoping that everyone's having a good time.
We are.
We could wrap it up if you like, unless anyone else would like to cover anything else.
Well, you brought up a good thing about like screw ups on stage
Yeah.
and owning them and that kind of thing. I mean, does anybody else have any other like really amazing like stage problems they've had or anything like that? I had a guitar tech come up, run up and grab my guitar and run off stage with it because he thought I was having an issue when I wasn't.
That's good.
Yeah.
Come back.
No, but there was this, it's on video somewhere, but there's this ridiculous thing where, like, I was just, like, moving the strap or something like that, and he thought there was some issue, and he ran up and, like, just, like, grabbed it and ran off stage, and then I ran off after him to try and get the guitar back. And the whole thing was, like, on video, so.
Is
in
this
the
video
middle
on
of the
YouTube?
song.
Is this video on YouTube?
I don't know.
Because I don't want to watch that.
I remember doing a gig while it was, we were filming for a DVD, and it was at Budokan in Japan with a Japanese artist I played with. And we take a guitar solo in the middle. It's really a guitar battle between me and the other guitar player. So, and I start. So I put on my guitar, and the guitar that I had was the first tour that I'd done with it, and it had a particularly kind of like slightly sort of tight output jack. It was a little bit difficult to get the cord plugged in. And I always keep my guitar wireless pack on my strap, and then I change by pulling it out, getting the new guitar, and plugging it back in. So I do that, and I go to, and there's like no sound, or like a little bit of sound, but it's very thin. And I'm like, and it's a solo, and I'm in an arena, and it's like, there's no sound, and I'm like, oh, that's oh shit. Oh, I gotta start the solo, and the boss is like sitting back over the like it's his time to chill for a minute, and I gotta play the solo. And just, all the things that, it probably lasted 7 or 8 seconds before I figured out
But
what
it
it
felt
was.
like 7 or 8 years.
And so we filmed it for DVD, so it's all recorded, and it's actually, you can hear it on the DVD. They didn't edit it out.
Oh, you're doing it now sounds cool.
Not cool. And so finally I'm like, I don't know what it is. Pulled the cable up, plugged it in, slammed it in, the cord came on, because I have a big distorted guitar sound. I'm like, oh, and I remember on the front of the stage just, and you can hear it and see it, like the anxiety in the cord, but like kind of in a good, I guess it worked out, but just like,
Oh, I am sure that you must have been freaking. I mean, you're in a live situation.
Yeah.
You're having technical difficulties in front of everybody
and
while
the
they're
DVD
filming.
Yeah, while they're filming. Recording.
Oh.
It was just like tripping.
How did it affect your playing when it went right and you stepped forward? Did you feel extra exhilaration?
It was like aggressive and a little like probably not that relaxed sounding, as cool as I normally try to be during that part. It was a little more like
Because you have to catch up. You have to play all the notes that you miss. And like,
I have a similar DVD story too. I was playing for this pop singer from Hong Kong, and she was doing a DVD thing at Hong Kong Coliseum. And there's a part of the show where I have to go. It's her and the guest star. They're doing like a duet, and then I have to sneak onto the side stage to do the guitar solo, and then I have to, while in the last verse, I have to kind of walk around them ominously. Like doing like Estebani kind of like little
some of the
licks and
things.
stuff.
This is a great story in and of itself. Some of the things you'll have to do during a pop game.
Yeah, to get a pop game. And then in the middle, in the end, we go in the middle of the stage, and the stage kind of goes underneath or whatever, right?
Right.
But the thing about the stage the stage lights they had is they were like the old school like arena lights where like if you got your guitar too close to them, they'd go. Because I play a Telecaster, right?
Right.
And I don't use the middle position. It's all bridge, right? So it's all like just huge. So no matter where, if there were certain spots I would walk, I would have to. So when
lights was like
so there was actually I had to chart out when we would do sound check. I would actually have to chart out because I would have to circle the stage. I had to go to I had to spare up where are the hot spots? Where can I not go? And I would have to make a mental note of I have to go walk around here and there because there's a light there and there's a pot light there, and I have to kind of figure it out. And actually, if you watch the DVD, there's a part in the solo where because it was like early on in the tour when they filmed it, where I missed my mark, and like in the solo, on DVD, you could even, and some on YouTube too, you could hear it just go, and then you just see me just do like a lick, just like where it's like it looks like I'm trying to do the Santana thing, but it's actually just me going like no.
Isn't it funny, like all these things though that like you don't like you think it's just going to be guitar and music, and it's like no, there's all this stuff involved. All
They
that
didn't
stuff
teach you that at
described,
Berkeley.
and you're trying to play.
That wasn't at the brochure at Berkeley, was it?
Oh, no.
I can teach that in a class.
Yeah, exactly.
Sink or swim 101.
Yeah, that's right.
Some of the stuff you got to do. the fella that I played with in Japan, he's a super energetic dude, and he'll start just doing this stuff on stage where he starts doing these moves, kind of like it's kind of very Springsteen-esque sometimes, and he'll start like swinging his guitar back and forth. And he wants you to do it, but you're playing some part. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to play. But he's looking at you like, come on, get on with me. And you're like, you got to do it. You know, he's like kicking his leg.
Oh my gosh!
And you got to do it. And I'm like, there's 18,000 people here, and I'm just doing this shit. And you just kind of do it.
He's got you doing a hoedown.
Yeah,
That's
it is
amazing.
And you gotta learn how to two-step too when you're playing in the band.
Yeah,
too, right? You have to
that's
do-
it.
and it's that same dumb two-step that every band does.
It's a little like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but and you just sort of do it, and then it's kind of exhilarating after, because you realize I just did that, like
Yes.
in front of, and there was no rehearsal, and I didn't know what I would. And I hope I looked all right doing that, but it's crazy. It's fun.
Yeah.
In those moments, you feel alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you're closest to death.
The almost alive, closest to death.
Speaking of feeling alive and playing music and stuff like that, I've often played with musicians who then stopped being musicians or stopped playing so much because they would say no to things. Like they wouldn't do that, what you just described, because it was outside of their so far outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
No. And do you not find sitting here that you've done things like that, and maybe there are other people that wouldn't have done that, and that is one of the reasons you're here. Like you're not here, Pete, just because you're a great guitar player. You'll be here because you're open to these kind of things.
I mean, that 100%. Everything that I've done so far has been either right place, right time, or because of the people I know, or because I've just said yes to every single thing. 100%.
Yeah.
That's always been exactly the same.
Maybe getting pushed out of your comfort zone and just going, I
All the
can
time.
do this.
I mean, to be fair, it's not comfortable, 100% comfortable for me to have someone come up and go, hey, let's go shoot a video. Do you know what I mean? For me, because I have to sit down and I have to kind of sort of build some sort of thing where I'm just like, right, cool, yeah, I'm just saying, hey, what do you want me to do? What are we going to do? And all that sort of stuff. And I've learned to really, really sort of ease into it and just 100% not take myself as seriously as I used to. And the way, that is exactly the way that everything to do with this YouTube thing and this using camera thing and meeting all you guys and just chilling and everything has been just saying yes to things and just being like, yeah, cool, let's do it.
How do you balance saying yes to everything?
I mean,
and at the same time not wasting your time.
Yeah.
You know, just.
I mean, as of at the moment, I haven't had the situation where I felt like I've been wasting my time because so far everything has been different. I'm sure there's going to be a point where I'm going to be like, right, I'm going to have to sort of really, you know, pick and choose things in a better way. I mean, because I've been doing the thing for using Kenner, 100% there's been some things where I've just been like, yeah, this is
Right.
but the majority of the time it's incredible. So, but as long as I've just said yes to it, and then you just find out and you see, you know. And if it was boring, and if it was fucking cool, if it was random, you know.
It's great to try things. Adaptability is a big part of it. It's not for everybody. Like some of these things, like the story I was telling, or like some of the things that you probably said yes to. It's like just the fact that you're willing to try things that maybe are out of your comfort zone. It helps you get gigs and keep gigs, that's for sure. You know, and it can also open doors, and then you might find yourself, you know, doing something that you never would have thought that you would be doing. You know, taking a gig or something that you inclination. Oh, maybe not, but maybe you make great. I don't know. With gigs, I have the 3 points sort of rule, which is there's the money, there's the music, and there's the hang. You know, so this is always my advice: is that when you're considering whether or not to do something, if the money's good and the hang's great, but you don't really like the music, well, you're going to get paid well, and the hang's great, you're going to make good friends, or you already have good friends on the gig, so you're going to have a good time no matter what. It's going to be cool. If the music's great, the money sucks, but your friends are doing it, you're going to have a great time playing songs. So if only one of those things is there, you get paid great, but the music sucks and you hate the people.
That's great advice, actually.
You gotta have at least 2 of those things. If you got all 3, then you got the best gig in the world, whatever that is.
Right.
That is absolutely the best advice I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I close it up, we're done.
The money, the music, and the hang. Those are the things. Actually, and it kind of goes for any job. It doesn't matter if you work
Yeah.
for a bank.
No,
It's
yeah.
like, you know, it's like it can go for any job, I think. Yeah. What do you mean? I don't know. I don't remember who told me that.
Have you done any, what kind of gigs have you done? Have you done any gigs that we were like, oh man, I can't believe I just did that gig?
Yeah.
Like those walk of shame ones? Yeah, you have any good ones?
I'm never ashamed of anything.
I got asked. So my dad is like as left wing as they get because he grew up like in a fascist dictatorship. So my dad's practically a communist. He's like super left wing, right? And I got asked to play for the Conservative Party of Canada at their leadership convention, where they pick the new candidate for the whatever, right? My dad's very left wing, but I was like, you know what, whatever. It's a gig. I know, it's whatever. I'm just in the background. I'm just in the pit crew while we're just playing music while they're counting votes on TV, right?
Right.
So we go and do the thing, and it just so happens that there's this guy, Kevin O'Leary, I think his name is. He's like this big. He's like the Canadian Donald Trump, where he really kind of wants to be like, he's just a rich guy. He has like a Dragon's Den kind of show, kind of thing, right? And so he's a big celebrity, and he decided he's a guitar player. So he comes and jams out with the band, and then before you know it, there's a picture of us on the newspaper that says Kevin O'Leary playing with fellow Conservative Party members. And there's a picture of me, Kevin O'Leary, and then the drummer or whatever. And then my poor father has to open the newspaper.
Oh my God!
They're like, oh, that didn't really work out, of course.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So. But in the end, it's you kind of music is, if you're playing music for a living, you're kind of winning. So it's like there's so many parts of other jobs that you hate, but you do it because it's your job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So dealing with Debbie from Human Resources. Like, you have no choice to but to hang out with Debbie, right? It's like, damn Debbie. So
why did you have to bring her up?
Every once in a while, you have to deal with a couple of bad things. Right, so I don't know. It's always.
Sorry, there's a live comment. Debbie said there's a problem with your check.
There's a problem with my check.
Yeah, this month it's not going to go out.
I remember doing a gig at I was playing with these Pop Sams. There were two identical twins. And we, yeah. So I got tired. That was one identical twin.
Could have been three.
Thank you for busting my balls. So anyway, we got this gig. We're playing in Atlanta. It was like a kids athletic kind of conference. So the audience was full of kids. Like there was like 9 to 14-year-olds or something like that, and their parents were sitting all around the sides. I mean, this was a big there was a lot of people there at this event that we were playing at. This was a big party or whatever that they were having, and all these kids had glow sticks. So they're all got their glow sticks and they're waving them around or whatever. We start playing, and one kid got the idea that it might be fun to throw the glow stick at the band.
Oh no, here we go.
Yeah, which can tend to turn into 2 glow sticks coming from the band. Which can tend to turn. All of a sudden, I see these things like, and then hit you, and the glow stick hurts when it hits you. It's a piece of plastic being thrown at a distance. It was like, and all of a sudden there was 7,000 glow sticks coming at the band. Yeah. And
Well, thank God it wasn't Taco.
Taco Bell?
Yeah, right.
Thousands of children with Taco Bell.
It burns the skin.
It was just
It's
like,
burning the skin. It's not real lettuce. It's the lettuce burning.
As a contrast, Pete, to show the difference between the kind of gigs I play and the kind of gigs you play, I played with some kids threw 2p coins at us.
what is that?
2p coins, as in they threw 2p coins. 2p coins. Pummeled us in a 3-piece, and I was covered in the Queen's Head.
Where were you playing?
Cinderford in the Forest.
Oh, mate. Yeah, fair enough.
And at the end of the gig, they said, "Excuse me, mate, can we come and get our money back?"
And you're on the ground like, no.
More money than you were getting for the gigs.
We almost broke even.
We had to bring our own PA. We're losing money on this gig.
Yeah, kids will throw things at you. That's the moral of the story. They don't want to hear your songs.
Yeah.
I'm having the idea that it'd be fun to have, when you get a gig where the only people in the audience are the other bands.
Oh, I've had a blow, yeah, of course.
So it'd be fun to when that happens, we're like, you got to throw water balloons at the other band, and everyone gets their turn, and like you're trying to like prank them and stuff, and like get them off their game. I think it should be a thing.
Just throwing water balloons. That's great when you're holding electrical instruments and everything like that.
You got to learn how to dodge.
You can dodge a water bottle. Yeah. Dodge a 2-patch piece of the glow stick. Yeah. All right.
Or maybe do the glow stick thing.
The glow stick.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
And make it a music video.
Yes.
Film it in slow-mo. It'll be
I
cool.
think I got hit in the face, and he was pissed. I remember the singer going like, "You're acting like animals, animals."
These kids are like, was he like a metal singer?
At the Groton Italian American Club, which is in Groton, Massachusetts, which is a very, very rural small town. Right. The Black Crowes were playing. And I was like, I can't believe that you're playing the Groton Italian American Club, all right? and it's an outside stage. And so we get there, and it's really packed. Obviously, it's general admission. We have to walk, like, from this parking lot way out at the street through this big set of woods, like acres and acres of woods to get into. And all of a sudden, it opens up to this big field, and they have baseball parks and and all this stuff, and they have a big stage like up on the top of this hill, and they're playing up there, and people started throwing stuff at the band, and they're like, hey man, knock it off, and it just kept going and going, and all of a sudden they were like, you know what, we're out, and it was like they walked off, and it was like, huh. And that wasn't even the scariest part. The scariest part was we had to get back to our cars, and we realized that they hadn't set, because they left early, they string lights up so you can get back out to there, and they didn't have them ready to go. And so we're walking back out in like pitch blackness, like through this thing, and there are these people down there like waving. Everyone's kind of mad because the band like walked off early. I didn't blame them, though. I mean, And the guy even said, he goes, what kind of person comes to a show to whip stuff up on stage? It's just like, it's only like one or two guys who are just drunk. It's like, there's your internet trolls right there, right? Yeah. Who show up at these shows. And luckily, they had a bunch of people run out there with flashlights to sort of guide us and to get out of the woods, like in the middle of the woods in the summer. Like, it was crazy. That was like one of the craziest shows I've ever been to.
What year was that? Do you have any idea? Do you remember?
Yeah, that was probably. I'm trying to think of where I was living at the time. I gotta think I was living in. I was probably living in Dedham, or was I living in Woodbridge? So it had to be 1998, 1999.
I mean, because there was a period of time where the two Richards the two brothers were really at each other. So even like for a minuscule little thing, like one of the brothers would be.
But they get along now. I always thought they.
No, they're completely. They won't even talk to each other.
Talk to each other.
Like brothers in bands, they just hate Oasis. They hate each other.
It's like it just obviously seems to cause risk because I'm a huge Black Crowes fan.
Yeah.
And I'm a big the other side when they've both done their own things. Both of the records sound amazing as well.
Right.
But yeah, like there was that period towards the end where they weren't getting on, and because they weren't getting on. Any situation,
any little trigger,
they were just like.
I gotta say though, I thought the band tolerated it for a little while. They were like, "Hey man, knock it off." They were trying to be cool because they didn't want to whip it up, right? They don't want to make it an us against them sort of thing. Like, stop or else. It's like, or else what? It's like, well, or else we're walking off, and that's
it's
exactly
pretty
what
like the whole period of time for it was always, peace of love, Black Crowes. Do you know what I mean? So they're always very chilled about those sort of things until.
I saw them on their first tour in like 1990. And man, were they good. They were really good. In fact, it was one of the best openings to a show. They sort of like exploded onto the stage. I was like, that was like they built up with the curtain closed, but you could sort of see them behind it. Cool. It was like this build up, and this build up, and this build up, and all of a sudden, boom, the curtain opened up, and I was like, whoa! I was like, oh my god! I mean, for such low tech, right? It was just them and a curtain, and it was the use of the music. To like just sort of build it up and build it up and build it up, and then wham! I was like, that was pretty damn good, guys. Well done.
They done that little live DVD in the barn in front of a really small amount of people called Good Morning Captain. And it's unreal.
Yeah. And the guitar player that night was white as a ghost and sweating. and didn't step. He had like a spot and didn't move the entire night. Found out later he had the flu. And they didn't, it was the only show in town and they didn't want to
The
cancel
bottle
it.
slide dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
he was
sing
sick
a
as a dog. You could see it. I said, man, that dude does not look well. And found out later he had the flu, and they just didn't want to cancel.
If there's anyone you haven't
Musicians.
seen, like a musician that you haven't seen that you wish you could see, who would it be? Quick.
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, I wish I saw Hendrix.
Hendrix.
Alice in Chains.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a cool cut. There you go.
I'd go, I guess, the Beatles. Wish I'd seen the Beatles.
Yeah.
But a Hendrix, too.
It's, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was like in Manila when the Beatles came to the Philippines, and that was one where the Beatles got like in a lot of
Yeah,
trouble,
they had to
right?
get the hell out.
Yeah, and he like all his friends went to go see, and he didn't get to go, and like he really regrets because he's like,
Yeah.
My,
how many times in a lifetime did you get to be part of?
That's a
I have to
crazy
go
story,
shoot
that
it.
whole Beatles and
Well, isn't that what kind of that's
See,
what
the
kind of made
guys-
us throw in the towel?
See,
right?
that's one of the. See, that's one of the things. Yeah, for sure. Where they were getting, it was getting crazy, and they realized their power. Like, and they pissed off the president, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Insulted.
they stood up the president and the president's wife's dinner.
Right, they were tired. I mean, they're pretty jet
Yeah, they did.
lagged.
They just flew in, and they had a like the dinner was like that night.
Yeah, they
they
were like,
flew in.
sorry, and then there was like a major insult. I guess. Yeah.
my driver's ed instructor saw the Beatles at Shea Stadium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he said,
Shit.
right? And he goes, we bought the tickets the same day as the show, and we paid an outrageous scalped price of $10 a ticket.
Right.
The face value was $2.50. He goes, my parents went ballistic, like $10.
Yeah.
He goes, but you know, it was worth it.
Could he hear anything?
What's that?
Could he hear anything? Because like all the
No,
building was
he said-
in the middle of the.
Yeah.
It was like the public address system that they.
Yeah, he said I didn't even care. He said you could hear it. He said, but it wasn't very loud, and it was hard to hear over the people. He said, but you know what? It was. I loved it, and I'm glad I went, and I'm glad we paid the $10.
Yeah, I had a
Never get that $10 back.
I had a friend
I've
of
seen
mine
20 movies with that.
that saw them. Actually, his mom saw them at the Cavern. She saw the Cavern.
Wow.
Yeah, she grew up in Liverpool. She would go watch the Beatles. And they were
I worked with a woman who grew up in Pasadena. She goes, I can't tell you how many times I saw Van Halen at a backyard show.
Backyard parties,
Backyard
yeah.
party. You ever see Van Halen in like between 80 and 84?
I saw him in '84.
Yeah, I saw him in 84 as well.
Yeah, that was my first.
Who's the best lead singer of Van Halen?
Oh,
Well, the best singer?
it's so obvious, I
The
won't
best
say.
singer is Sammy, but the best front man was Dave. Dave in 1984
I like
was just
Sammy.
amazing.
Yeah, but Dave was, he's like, I don't know, he was just, that was magic. The beginning was magic. Those records, and, I don't know, he was, for a while, I mean, he was just like unstoppable, that guy, like, craziest rock star.
I think now, like today, people forget how big Sammy already was when he joined Van Halen.
He was
He was already a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, he's many times said he took a pay cut to join that band.
Yeah.
Because he goes, before it was just all going to me. Now it was split 4 ways.
It was a good decision though, man, because that's a legacy that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a huge.
And they
legacy
wrote some
for
great
him.
songs.
Dude. Just the opening of Right Now, just the opening of it, like
How
that
many-
gets you pumped up,
How many
man.
sports events have you watched on TV where the opening credits were the opening
Right now.
few
Just
seconds
with the
of
piano.
right there?
Oh man, you want to get in a fight with somebody.
And Dreams, right? Right on the Olympics are always playing like the Dreams opening, right? Because it's all part of that. And they locked up the sporting actress in the 70s.
We've got some questions in the comments section because we're going to round this up. We've got a barbecue to go to at fun.
Oh,
Yeah, we got Slippers.
I'm looking forward to that.
And you might enjoy this, a Beatles-themed sing-along. Campfire sing-along.
Really?
Not only Beatles, but there'll be some Beatles songs there. We've got a question. The final one is, what is everyone's dream gig? Like, which I'm going to take that as which band. You asked us which band you wanted to see, which artist. Which band, which show maybe would you like to have played in, or would you like to play in?
oh, that's hard.
I would have loved to play with like Prince. You know, but actually no, maybe not Prince, because he seemed like he'd be a tough band leader, like Michael Jackson. Be fun being, and Bruno Mars has a fun like catalog of styles. Like you wouldn't get bored playing that game because you play a lot of different styles and stuff. Right, so yeah, it'd probably be like Michael Jackson.
I've always just wanted to be Jimmy Lovino.
Yeah.
He's on the guitarist from Conan.
Yeah.
Every day he just gets to go to work. He gets to play the hot bits of the songs that he likes.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to play the full song. He gets to play a bunch of cool guitars.
And
he gets to sit down the whole time.
And you're done in the afternoon.
And you're done in the afternoon.
You can play your gigs at night.
Yeah.
It's
a great gig.
He was the worst guy to be in a band with, but James Brown. I was a huge James Brown fan, and I love his music. And it's like if you're gonna pick a singer, you know what I'm saying? It's like he's just one. To me, he's like just one of the best out there. I always loved James Brown, but he notoriously is one of the worst bands to ever be in.
Right.
And he would fire the whole band in a night and fly in another band, like literally the same day before a gig. And he's just a horrible, horrible person to be, a bandmate with. But damn, could that guy sing? He really was amazing.
Yeah. No?
Max Pete?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I like in general, I like big production shows, so it's hard to kind of narrow anything down, but something that was like a big, loud band with a big stage production.
Alice Cooper? Would you like to be announced?
Yeah,
Disney on Ice.
Or,
Disney on Ice.
I mean, I'm a big metal guy, so like I might say Manowar. Because like a Manowar show, like that's one. It's bar none the loudest show I've ever been to in my life, and like the loudest and the biggest, loudest sound. And they do all kinds of pyro and ridiculous stuff.
Have you ever seen Motorhead?
I never saw Motorhead.
I'll tell you, that was the loudest show I ever saw.
Yeah.
And we tried stuffing toilet paper in our ears.
Yeah.
And it was just too painful. And we wound up going outside and listening to the whole show in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Where it was at the perfect volume out there. And it sounded great. Everything sounded wonderful. And we heard the whole show sitting out in the parking lot. And it sounded great, but man, inside the building, it was painful.
Something like that I only experienced at a Manowar concert that I've never experienced any other thing was you could actually, because I have long hair, you stand there facing the stage, you're hearing it, the wind from the speakers would actually blow your hair, would actually move your hair.
Like the Max Headroom film.
Yes.
Like that. They cranked up.
It was literally like wind blowing at you from the speakers.
I've never been in that situation.
I remember seeing the Van Halen show in '84, and I had third row floor seats way on the end, and I was in front of they used to stack all the way on the floor, instead of flowing down and stack it up. And I remember they came out and started with Unchained, and I remember feeling the sound pressure, feeling it. And I didn't know what song it was. It was so loud. They were playing Unchained, which is one of my favorite songs. It was just I was just
this is a watch.
but it was amazing.
So it'd be Van Halen?
Yeah, for me?
Yeah. Because if you were Max
See, for me,
it'd be Van Halen.
Yeah, no, that
I'm sort of
would be.
basing around the singer.
If I had, to be honest, I did it with Chris Cornell.
Chris Cornell, yeah.
For me, that was like kind of cool gig. I don't know if
You already lived your dream then.
I just wanted to do more of that. Me playing that music with that guy was just no better for me. I mean, as a rock guitar player, that was just
You can't beat that.
yeah, it was a really great time. So, after that, I kind of sort of just a little bit where we started earlier, we're talking about doing our own thing. It's I'm actually I get more excited. I'd love to play with a lot of people at this point, but I get more excited about actually moving forward, writing music, and doing my own thing, and kind of building my own, rather than I used to think I'd love to get a gig with so and so. I still would love to do some of that, but maybe after some of the after playing with somebody like Chris or something like that, it's well, I did that, and we're gonna go from there for my style. Once you play great songs with a singer that you admire so much and you love the music so much. It's like there's other stuff I always wanted to play with like I love the Foo Fighters, because they're like fun rock and roll band. Get out there and play rock like that. That would be a great gig. I'd love to go do that, or play with
Steel Panther, because even though they're a joke, the band's amazing. The band's amazing. I mean, their technical ability is up there.
Yeah, Russ, yeah, he's an amazing guitar player. He's a great guy too. Actually, he was a teacher at MI when I was there.
And he played Fight.
Right,
With Alfred.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's right. And
Yeah.
what else did he play with? He did that, and another Alfred.
I remember them from an ad, a Discover ad, in like the year 2000,
Oh,
roughly.
yeah.
When they had
The
the band
15 minutes of
Danger Kitty.
Yeah.
Right? So they're in
Oh,
Danger
yeah.
Kitty and they earn all this money in the 80s, and they're like hanging out in like, limos with hot tubs in the back.
Yeah.
And then their music goes like out the window. No one cares about metal anymore. And then it shows them like 12 years later, like playing a bar mitzvah, like who wants to rock? And it's the dude. It's pretty much that band,
Right.
and they're all brought in separately from separate, calls, and they come in there and they realize that I think they had a chemistry. And they were like, well, we should do something together.
Well,
and I know Russ and the singer there, Ralph, had been together quite a bit in a couple of different situations.
Atomic
But,
Punks, is that what they did? Or?
well, yeah.
Did Ralph do Atomic? Ralph was in Atomic.
Yeah.
He was in Atomic
Yeah,
Punks,
yeah.
And
Russ.
and then they did what was their cover band? Metal School.
I think it was both.
It might have been both.
They switched.
They switched it around.
Kind of became Steel Panther.
And then they just went on and did the parody band,
Yeah.
and which is amazing. I love it. I mean, if you come back as an '80s metal band and you're serious, it's pretty sad. But if you come back as a metal band as a parody, it's
Well,
absolutely
if
genius.
you can make a living at it.
Hey man.
Yeah.
Done it for-
So there's a whole Swedish sleaze glam metal scene or something.
Dude,
It's
I would
awesome.
love to be in a glam metal band right now.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it 100% seriously.
Jay,
Up in the
what
lipstick.
glam metal band would be cool?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Purple Bulge. I don't know.
We're gonna have to wrap it up.
Glitter Kitty.
We've got to make this place available for other people. We've had a lot of people commenting and very happy that we're all here at TGU.
Yeah.
Some of us are here at TGU19. Star of the show is Ryan's Legs. You've had the top comments.
Hey, very nice. Brought to you by New Balance and khakis for white men.
I got here fresh from mowing the lawn.
So we're gonna go and hang out, barbecue, make some music, and I'll be back with maybe the same YouTubers, maybe different ones tomorrow at roughly the same time. YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and have some fun with TGU19.
Subscribe.
Bye everybody.
Subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe, and subscribe. Click the bell. And click the bell.
Write and comment below.
So if anybody on the mixing desk is still awake, then please stop recording now.
We stopped an
You have
hour
to keep
ago.
smiling and nodding until you stop the video. Awkwardly looking at each other. Oh
Are
god.
we still on?
I don't even know anymore.
Every live stream I do, I hit go live and then it says you're live, and then I watch it back and it's like this whole moment of 6 seconds before where I was live and I didn't think I was live, and I'm just like, hey, what's up? It's like, why does it tell you you're not live?
Every single live video ends the same way. It was someone just like,
Hey, thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.
Remember that thing where
Put your glasses on.
knock the phone down before you
And it's frozen there. That's like the last minute. You have your glasses like.
Hey, guess what? We're still alive! So thanks for watching. Thanks to the guys in the mixing desk room for not talking to each other and falling asleep. Thanks to Lucas. And I want to say, Vincent,
How do you turn this thing on?
let's all do it! Bye, YouTube! It's going to be freaky as heck.
are people watching this with goggles or something like that? How does it work?